It's the Road to World Cup 26 podcast, your deep dive into everything FIFA World Cup every single week. Part of the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to Road to World Cup 26. My name is Nick Britten. I am your host. It is February 2026. Time is ticking. And actually, I get a sense that things are getting close because we're going to enter a new phase of the podcast today where we are having a look at the groups. And that will kind of give us a good sense of where everybody's at right here, right now. We've got few games in March that are either qualifiers or friendlies. And then we really are into the final footsteps of getting ready for the World Cup. So it feels like it's getting closer and closer. I'm joined, as I always am, by my friend, colleague, and his own separate beard, which seems to be growing a life of his own. Mr. Ken Davies. Hello, Ken. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for the comments on the beard. I'm very well. It's 109 days to go to the start of the World Cup, everybody. 109. Mark it in your calendars. We're nearly kind of 3 months, really. Kind of nearly there. Lot going on. A lot of news, a lot of stuff. It's all bubbling away. Though I did see, by the way, last week that FIFA are getting a little bit, I don't know if this is a true story, but I'll say it anyway. FIFA are getting a little bit worried about the lack of hype around the World Cup. And people are saying, well, it's the ticket prices. But do you think there's a lack of hype? Or do you think it's all going to suddenly, when the football season's domestically finished, everyone's going to go, hey, the World Cup's coming?
I think there's loads and loads of hype at the moment, but none of it's good. No, it'll be fine. These things look, happens every time. Always happens, whether it's a World Cup, whether it's an Olympic, whatever kind of massive kind of global event like this. At this stage of process, and I've covered these things, journalistically before, all the stories are written, they're all kind of negative stories. Oh, the stadiums aren't ready and this is going to be a problem and that's not happening. And we're going to be talking about one or two things today that are just kind of bumps in the road. But actually, when the domestic football seasons finish in Europe, particularly, everybody's going to go, right, hey, it's the World Cup.
Yeah.
And so it'll be fine. The hype will be there. I mean,
Uncle Nick for setting us right on that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I don't know why FIFA is saying this. I mean, FIFA have been hyping, so I don't even know what they're talking about here.
No,
because there's loads of stuff in the news all the time about that.
Yeah, I think we're doing our part as well on that. But anyway, talking about hype or things not living up to their hype, how did Derby get on the weekend?
I thought this was a World Cup podcast.
Well, everybody knows we've got a little 2-minute segment where we take the piss out of Derby.
Okay, it was a very disappointing 2-0 defeat away at Watford yesterday in the Championship, and probably brought everybody back down to earth, having sneaked into 6th place last week with a 2-0 win against Swansea, and everybody goes, "Oh, we're in the playoffs! Hurrah!" Back down to earth with a bump because, quite frankly, we were really quite poor yesterday. Watford played better than we did. They deserved the win, and we're back out of the playoffs now. So there we
go. So who took your place in the playoffs then?
I think, as far as I'm aware, it was either Birmingham or Southampton, wasn't it?
No, it was Wrexham after their crushing 5-3 victory over promotion rivals Ipswich at the Kairos. Absolutely memorable performance, and one that augurs well for the next 13 games and our push to become the only team in history ever to go from the National League to the Premier League in consecutive seasons. Check that out, everyone. If you're listening in Switzerland or Sweden or Swahili land, just think about that. A team that's gone from the National League, which is like part-time, to the Premier League in consecutive seasons. Can happen this season for the first time if everybody gets behind Wrexham, and everyone is behind Wrexham.
Right. Let me just add a little caveat to that, which is getting from National League to League Two, then to League One was relatively easy because obviously you are owned by Hollywood superstars who have unbelievable amounts of money and can attract ridiculous amounts of sponsorship from global brands. Therefore, you just buy all the best players. Let's not forget when you were in League Two, you were buying players on championship wages. Okay, and players were turning down championship teams to go to League Two because they could earn so much money playing for Wrexham. So let's not pretend this is some kind of football fairy tale, because football's got very little to do with it. What everything to do with, let's just throw as much money as we can and buy leagues, buy the National League, buy League Two, buy League One. To your credit, you're doing much better in the Championship than I thought you were going to do.
Hey.
It is a difficult league, but you're still able to buy players who sit on your bench who are worth more than most Championship team starters.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, isn't it? I love capitalism when it's like that. when actually it's Wrexham.
So Ryan Reynolds and the other guy who changed his name, whose name I can't remember,
Rob McElhenney.
He's not called that anymore, though, is he? He's legally called. No, he legally changed his name to like Rob Mac.
Oh, okay.
And
wanker. Nobody changed the name, did they? Nobody changed the name to a symbol. If you could change your name to something else, Nick, or a symbol, what would it be?
Well, right now it's two fingers stuck up at you. So
hey, we better talk about the World Cup.
Well, no, we should, but I haven't quite finished my rant. You started this, so let me finish this. Rant against Wrexham. So good. Look, good for you. Obviously, they've picked up very well in the last 4 years since they've been massively bankrolled. Let's not forget where Wrexham have been and should.
No, let's forget.
And have spent nearly all of their history.
No, let's forget that.
When it's relied on actual football, and that is, of course, non-league and the lower reaches of Division 3 and 4, as it used to be in the old days. And so let's not pretend this is a football story. Okay, let's move on.
It's a football fairy tale. The films will be made about it.
Well, they probably will.
You'll probably be on it.
They already have. They've already got on Disney or something, haven't you?
Netflix, can't wait. Disney can't wait. Can't wait for the film.
I'd never, ever, 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 ever.
The Oscar-winning film.
I'd never.
Ryan's Wrexham.
Who would you play? Who would you? Bearing in mind you now look like you've got a beard and you look like Santa Claus. Who would you play in the Wrexham fairy tale? Would you play?
I'd probably play. I think I'd probably play Paul Mullin.
Who's the guy who hasn't played for Wrexham for 3-4 years?
Yeah, but he's absolutely key part of it, wasn't it? Or maybe I'll play. I looked at a picture of myself today and I thought, you look a bit like Wayne Rooney. I could play Wayne Rooney. He's got nothing to do with Wrexham, apart from he scored his first professional goal against us. But I could play Wayne Rooney. Anyway, move on to World Cup.
I think you've got lots of attributes that are similar to Wayne Rooney at the moment. None of them have got to do with football, though. Let's talk about the World Cup.
Yay!
Let's talk about the World Cup. Right, bits of World Cup news then. We brought you news earlier on in the year, just after Christmas, that Nigeria had lodged an official complaint with FIFA. Nigeria, if you remember, had a pretty poor qualifying campaign and were then subsequently knocked out of the African playoffs by DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, Nigeria, either out of spite or desperation or just because they felt they had a case, we don't really know, they lodged a formal complaint with FIFA saying that some of the Congolese players were ineligible to play because they had dual citizenship, and under Congolese law does not allow for dual citizenship. Therefore, these players were not able to play. And I'm talking about players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who plays in the English Premier League.
Good player.
I watched him last night. Play for West Ham.
Yeah.
And Axel Tuanzebe. You know, these are sort of high level, very, very, very good elite players. And they're both former youth internationals actually in England. Anyway, Nigeria lodged this complaint, and we were kind of awaiting the outcome. The outcome has not yet been made public, but in the last 48 hours, the Nigerian Football Federation has said that the men's football team will take part in a four-nation invitational tournament in Jordan during next month's international window, which is when the playoffs would have been played. So it looks like they've had word from FIFA, or indeed have just given up on the idea that they're going to replace DR Congo in those playoffs, because whilst those playoffs will be taking place, they've gone and agreed to play a friendly tournament in Jordan.
Yeah, and you can see why it would fail, because I don't think FIFA have got any issue on dual nationality, and it's FIFA's competition. Can see their point in terms of if it's Congolese law, but I don't think Congo are about to actually bring their own football team to justice in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I don't think there's much. I don't think they got much chance of winning that one.
Are you suggesting the Democratic Republic of Congo isn't absolutely democratic, Ken?
I don't know is the answer to that. I've never done a deep dive into the democracy of the DR Congo, but I just, no one's going to shoot themselves literally in the foot like that, are they? So, and if FIFA haven't got an issue, and it doesn't sound like they will have, I think it's the game's up for Nigeria, that particular game, and they can go and play another game in Jordan at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it looks like Nigeria have given up, and but we will await the official ruling from FIFA. You've got a bit of news, haven't you, that concern England fans, amongst other, and a potential, and indeed really, really disruptive change of venue.
Well, it's more a dispute, really, than a potential change in venue. And what it is all about, really, is Boston, or more accurately, Foxborough, which is 22 miles southwest of Boston, because that's where the games in Boston will be played. It's the Gillette Stadium. It's owned by, it's owned by the state. It's owned by the area of Foxborough, but it's licensed and used by the New England Patriots. That's where the New England Patriots play, owned by the Robert Kraft, who owns the Kraft Corporation. So they play their American football games there. It's a huge, beautiful stadium. And 7 games are due to be played there in the World Cup, including Haiti against Scotland on the 13th of June, and including England v Ghana on the 23rd of June. It's got a quarterfinal that's going to be staged there. So it's a big part of the World Cup preparation. 7 games in all played, 2 of the knockout games. But there's a dispute because the council of Foxborough, the board of Foxborough, if you put it that way, still don't know where the $8 million, which is going to be required for the public safety in that for those games, is coming from. And FIFA haven't been clear on that. The federal government haven't been clear on that. And the board of Foxborough essentially is saying, we ain't granting you a license then. So, and that has to be granted by March in order for the games to go ahead. Just to put that in a little bit of context. So when Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots play there, they pay the money for the crowd control and the public safety and the policing up front. And they're based there. So if they didn't pay, they could always go and sue them. What the people in Foxborough are saying is that once the World Cup 26 is no more, who are we suing if you don't pay? So don't tell us that we're paying it and we'll claim it back off you, which seems to be what people are suggesting. We're not going to do that. We want the money up front. Now, the federal government has earmarked $625 million for all this public safety around the whole of the World Cup. But at the moment, there's absolutely zero clarity about how cities effectively are going to get that money up front in order to pay for all this policing and public safety. So essentially what they're saying in Foxborough is, unless you give us the money, we ain't signing your certificate of safety. And therefore, you better do something about it. And there was a big meeting last week about it. And it went disastrously in the sense of nobody from FIFA or nobody from the organisation committee of the World Cup was able to give Foxborough any clarity whatsoever where this money was even coming from, whose budget it was coming from, how it was going to get to them, when it was going to be paid, and what it was for. Absolutely no answers. So there was uproar in Foxborough about this, and essentially it's really heightened the whole thing. And Foxborough have dug their heels in now, saying, unless we see that money, guys, you ain't getting your certificates. So you better start thinking about this very seriously. So it's, like you're saying, it's a bump in the road, probably. I'm sure it'll get sorted out. But the clock suddenly has got very loud on that, the ticking of the clock, because we're only, we're at the end of February already. So unless they come up with this money and hand it over to Foxborough, there'll be no games in Boston.
So that's extraordinary. That is extraordinary. They're going to have to get a move. I mean, there's a game of real hardball poker being played.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to get the money because you can't just start switching venues.
No. It's way
You can't just suddenly
way.
go, right, okay, no games in Boston, let's go and play in Wrexham or somewhere like that. You can't just do that.
No.
So very interesting.
It's going to be a very interesting story
unfolds.
because there's proper hardball being played. And the Americans do play hardball, and it goes on both sides. Now, I'm sure there have to be a compromise because there's too much invested. But it'll be very interesting to see how that compromise plays out.
There's a little bit, that it will be. There's a little bit of what you've just said, which feeds into our third and final news story of the week. It's something that's happened this week, and that is the official FIFA Fan Fest, so the fan park.
FIFA Fan Fest?
A FIFA Fan Fest.
Wow.
I know.
FIFA Fan Fest Festival.
I've been practicing that all morning.
Where's it? Where's that?
In Finland. No, it's not. It's in it's in the big one's in New York and New Jersey. So you got so the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey is hosting 8 games this World Cup, and a year ago they announced this enormous fan park in the Liberty State Park, which is in New Jersey, on the shore, overlooks sort of the Statue of Liberty and the beautiful Manhattan skyline. And let me think. They've been selling tickets, they've been organizing, they've been getting sponsors, and the whole thing was really up and running until a change in governor. So the governor changed earlier this year, and in the last few days has cancelled the whole thing. So people have bought tickets for it all, they've organized travel, this, that, and the other. The whole thing's been canned. And instead of that, they are going to have a series of kind of more local events rather than one big fan park.
So
now,
it's been absolutely canned then? The whole thing has been canned?
Yeah, it's been stopped, yeah. It's been thrown in the bin. Now, the reason behind it, a couple of things, really. One is they were worried about security and hundreds of thousands of people turning up at this all the time because it's meant to be open every day. Secondly, they were very worried about the cost, and that comes into something that you were talking about a moment ago. I'm going to just touch on that in just a minute. And thirdly, I think just because it's such a well-known state park, just the effects on locals who might not be able to use it and all this kind of stuff. So they're going to have sort of series of events. It feels like it might be there's politics at play here a little bit as well. So but it plays into a wider thing here, because every host city who's hosting games at the World Cup is expected to pay for fan parks, and the costs are astronomical. Security costs alone at Jersey, we're talking about $1 million a day.
Wow.
So, and cities aren't really getting a lot of help, so they're expected to do this, and they're all saying, well, we can't afford to do it. So a lot of the host cities are downgrading their plans. They are, and you talked a little bit about the hype earlier on of the World Cup. Cities are looking at this and going, well, unless we get government funding, we can't afford to do it. And the government isn't funding it. FIFA is not funding it, even though they're taking obviously all the revenue from everything that's going on. So I think we're going to see a bit more of this in the run-up. I think a lot of pushback, either to just, again, this game of kind of poker, we'll do it, but we need money and we need financial help, or cities will just go, well, we can't afford to do it, so we'll just really, really scale back our plans.
It's very interesting. Do you think that FIFA's seen a little bit Trumpy in the sense of, do you think the World Cup, and because Infantino and Trump are so close, the old, the prize for peace and all that stuff, do you think the World Cup in America is seen a little bit a bit Trumpy in that sense, and some of these places which are not Trumpy are saying, well, we're not helping this?
It does feel more than previous World Cups just about money and about, I know what you mean.
It's politicized, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Than it's never been before.
Correct. Yeah, it is, and there's seems to be so much focus on money and commerciality and politics. So maybe
it's got that whiff about it, hasn't it? A little bit.
Yeah. If you have, by the way, bought a ticket for the New Jersey fan park, you will be reimbursed in the next 14 to 21 days by Ticketmaster. Just in case you're wondering. and worry.
Well, that's good news. But there's interesting little setting news clips there.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting look, I think, at quite how these organisations are now going to, or host cities. I think the problem is they're just suddenly starting to realise how much all this is going to cost them, and it's going to cost their taxpayer, and this may be or maybe not, I don't know, but maybe because the USA is not naturally a soccer hotbed, they're looking at it and going, well, is this really worth it? Are we going to get the interest? Are we going to make our money back? Or should we be doing this for something that isn't basketball or American football?
And it's not permanent. It's not permanent. It's here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and cities do not, particularly in this day and age with the global economy being what it is, do not want to be left in millions and millions of dollars worth of debt.
No, I agree with that. Interesting. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little advert. Why not? Because the Road to World Cup 26 podcast has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Your body's unique, and mine is. And because
your beard is unique.
My beard is absolutely unique. Without knowing exactly, I didn't have this before I started taking Bionique, and I can't stop it growing now. It's weird.
Don't say that.
No, I shouldn't.
Can't say that.
Okay, no, that is not.
Can you just start again?
The Road to World Cup 26 podcast has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalized supplements, because your body is unique. And because without knowing exactly what your body needs, if you take off the shelf supplements, you might be getting too many of the things you don't need, maybe not enough of the ones you do need. And Bionique provides 100% tailor-made supplements specifically designed for your body and crafted to just deliver precisely what it needs. So click on the show notes for more details. If you use the code, in fact, you don't even need to use a code. You don't even need to use a code. Just click on the link. You get 50% off your first order, and your body will be very pleased that you did that.
It's the Road to World Cup 26 podcast, your deep dive into everything FIFA World Cup every single week. Part of the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Listen to Road to World Cup 26 podcast. Do get in touch with us. Best way is emailing road to World Cup 26 at gmail.com, road to World Cup 26 at gmail.com. Please also ignore everything that Ken said in the just before that advert. None of it is true and should not be taken literally. Please listen to what he said during the advert, and by all means, ignore everything he said, not just before the advert, but in every single podcast we ever do.
My beard is not chemically enhanced in any way.
Can we please just move on? Quick look at Group A then. We're going to start our 12-week look, although it may be interrupted by things like playoffs and games during March. There's loads of games during March. Obviously, those teams who have qualified already have warm-up games, so really good chance to look at them and for coaches to make their final preparations. And of course, we have the all-important playoff games, which will determine the last few teams who are going to USA, Canada, and Mexico, where I am planning on going, by the way, in September.
Ooh.
I'm planning a little trip.
You're going to miss it then?
Yeah, but the fan park will be empty, so I'll be all right.
Yeah,
I'll be able to straight to the front of the queue for a beer.
Where's the FIFA fan park, please? You've missed it, mate. You missed it by 2 months.
3-4 months ago, yeah. Mexico, South Africa, Korea Republic, and another, depending on who wins the playoff pathway D, I think it is.
It is. Euro.
We'll be competing in Group A, and we're going to have a very quick whiz through them all. So we're going to start with the hosts, Mexico. Ken, what can you tell us briefly about Mexico? And I mean briefly.
You mean briefly.
I've got where we're at the moment right now with Mexico.
I've got 3 minutes on this. Mexico ranked 16th, pretty consistent. They've been 16th. They were 16th in 2017. So you can see it's been pretty much of a plateau, but obviously a decent team. They won the CONCACAF Gold Cup last year, beating USA 2-1 in Houston. So they're in relatively good form. Didn't go through a qualification process course for the World Cup. So they've really just been playing a series of friendlies. Those friendlies have not gone amazingly well. They've won 2. They beat Panama, who are ranked 33rd, and Bolivia, who are ranked 76th. They lost 2, including a bit of a drubbing by Colombia, 4-0. Colombia are ranked 14th, and they also lost to Paraguay, and they've drawn against Japan, South Korea, Ecuador, and Uruguay. So it's been patchy in terms of form for Mexico. I was quite bullish on Mexico. I'm getting a little bit less bullish as months roll past, to be quite honest.
Yeah, me too. To be honest, I am as well. I've been doing all my research into this. It seems the mood in Mexico is not actually particularly optimistic.
No.
About all of this, which I was kind of surprised at. Look, furthest Mexico has ever got in the World Cup is the quarterfinals. They got to the quarterfinals twice, and on both occasions they were the host.
Yeah.
Okay. So winning Group A is absolutely paramount. Because home advantage is everything to Mexico in this World Cup. If they win Group A, they'll play in Mexico City for the round of 32. And if they win that, they'll play in Mexico City again for the round of 16, which is when they're due to meet England if everything progresses as we think it might be. If they don't, they'll be playing in the USA, and that could be it. That could be it. Yeah. So winning their group is absolutely crucial. In terms of players, they've got Raul Jimenez, obviously we know, who's very very highly thought of. They've got Edson Alvarez, who's on loan from West Ham and Fenerbahce. So 2 UK Premier League players there. You've got Santiago Jimenez, who's playing at AC Milan. So they've got a lot of players, by the way, who play in the Mexican league.
Yeah.
In Premier League MX. They've got a lot of players there, but the players who play in Europe are generally of a decent standard. They're quite a high level team. The one player I'm really looking out for is the wonder kid of Mexican football at the moment, 17-year-old, a lad called Gilberto Mora, who's really, really highly rated. A lot of big European teams are after him. So Real are interested, Barcelona are interested. All that he might end up at Chelsea, because that's seems to be a lot of path for South American players at the moment. So he's certainly one to look out. I know that they've obviously got a lot of injuries at the moment. Hugo Bruce. I'm going to come to him in a bit. Javier Aguirre has got a lot of injuries to contend with at the moment. So he's got games coming up that he's kind of having to put in reserve players, which is fine. I mean, it gives them an opportunity to stake their claim, if you like, to stake their cause. But I think in a lot of teams that we've looked at, when we started talking about this almost a year ago, because we did this podcast a year now, who we thought was going to star in the World Cup perhaps isn't.
Yeah.
Teams that we thought were going to do well starting to change our mind a little bit. And I think we may see a little bit of movement in the Mexico side.
I think we're rowing back a bit on Mexico. I think what we'll do, by the way, just FYI, listener, we're going to do each of these groups now for the next 12 weeks. So we're going to go through the whole 12 groups. I think at the end of that, we'll give you an updated view in terms of who's going to star and who's going to not star necessarily here.
Yeah. But they've got a good coach. I mean, Aguirre, he's in his third stint as manager of the national team. He led them in the 2002 World Cup, 2010 World Cup, where they got to the round of 16. He's won. Oh, you said, didn't you, last week? He's won. Sorry, let's try that again. You said a moment ago that last year they won the Gold Cup, so they're in good form-ish. They've got a good coach, but to me, everything depends on winning the group.
I think so. And CONCACAF is not the greatest, qualification division, really, in terms of quality. So anyway, we shall see. Going on to South Africa, ranked 60th, slow, inexorable rise. Though back in 1996, they were as high as 16th, but then they fell away to 90th by 2010. But in 2017, they were 81st. They've risen up their ranks to 60th. But again, it's a club or a country that suffers because it doesn't have the most fantastic competition. Losses recently against Egypt, who are ranked 31st, and Cameroon, who are 45th. They just struggle a bit against better quality opposition, and I don't think this is going to be any different.
No, we talked, didn't we, recently with the very well-known South African journalist, Bra Jakes, and he said that optimism for the World Cup was pretty low following a fairly poor performance in AFCON. You've got to say they didn't make their mark. No. Let's put it like this: they didn't make their mark. They didn't show themselves to be amongst the big players, even in Africa, let alone on the global stage. They've got some good players. Ngazana's good. Lyle Foster's decent. He's got pedigree, Premier League pedigree. Ronwen Williams, the goalkeeper, and the captain is arguably the most important player. A very good penalty saver, by the way.
Yeah.
So if they get into games where there's penalty shootout, they'll fancy themselves because Williams is very good.
I'm not sure they're going to see any penalty shootouts, mate.
No, I don't think so either. Interesting fact about Ronwen Williams, by the way. He was the first goalkeeper in the world to be penalised this season under the FIFA's new 8-second rule. So you've got to release the ball when the ball is in the goalkeeper's hands. You've got to release it within 8 seconds, and the referee gives a timed timeout with his hand after 5. And if you don't release it by the time he's put all his fingers down, then it's a corner kick to the opposition. Yeah. Ronwen Williams was the first goalkeeper in the world to be penalised.
That is such a great little factoid. Everyone needs to pack that away. One day you could be sitting and who wants to be a millionaire? And that question get asked. And you should share that with me.
Phone me as your phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend.
Coach South Africa is Hugo Bruce. Plenty of pedigree. He's won AFCON with Cameroon before. He's managed Morocco, did a good job. As a player, he's won competitions, European Cup, Winners' Cup. Took over South Africa in 2021 and very successfully and quite easily guided them through the World Cup qualifying campaign. But they're about to hit a lot harder teams and choppier waters, I suggest.
I think that's right. Third team, obviously, who are in the group is South Korea. A very interesting team. Of course, one of the two big powerhouses, really, of Asian football. Ranked 22nd in the world, highest ranking in the last 12 years. So, this is a team which is on the ascendancy. And they've been on pretty good form recently. 3 recent games they've won, beating Paraguay, ranked 40th, Bolivia, ranked 76th, Ghana, ranked 72nd. They drew with Mexico, 2-2 in the USA. On the 9th of September last year. One fly in the ointment with South Africa. They were beaten 5-0 by Brazil in October. Carlo Ancelotti was in charge of Brazil, as he is now still. Absolutely destroyed them. So again, a case of when we think Brazil are on the ascendancy, I think generally, but they absolutely demolished South Korea in Seoul. So that's going to be, it's great beating Ghana and Bolivia, but if you're going to get absolutely battered by Brazil, you're not going to get that far in the World Cup.
Good players. They've got some good players. Kim Maje, who's central defender of Bayern Munich, very experienced player, 75 caps. You've got Lee Kang-in, attacking midfielder of PSG, 44 caps since making his debut in 2019. And of course, the poster boy of Korean football, which is Heung-min Son, who Great left player. Tottenham after a really, really successful stint. He's gone to the MLS. He's playing with Los Angeles. He's 33 years old, but he has been banging them in.
He's just a class player,
12 goals in 13 games.
Great
last season. Already in the last few days, scored in the first game of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Possibly his World Cup, probably his last World Cup, rather. Can he turn it on?
Yeah.
We hope so. The Korea Republic's chances of doing anything will rest very heavily on his shoulders. But they've got other good players. Lee Jae-sung plays at Mainz. Got the Wolves player, Hwang Hee-chan.
Good player.
Yeah, he's all right. He's not really getting a game at Wolves, but he's all right.
Had a good season last season, I think.
Yeah. So they've got pedigree in there. They've never really quite kicked on to cement themselves at the top of world football since bursting onto the scene in 2002 in the World Cup that they hosted with Japan. But as you say, their ranking's going up. It's a difficult one to call.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to call because, in a rather neat segue, we do have to just have a very quick look at who the fourth team in that group is going to be. As Nick said earlier, comes from Path D, the winner of Path D in the European leagues. So that's either going to be Czech Republic, Republic of Ireland, Denmark, or North Macedonia. Certainly got a couple of teams there in Czech Republic and Denmark who are going to give South Korea a real run for their money if they make it through. So Czechia play Republic of Ireland on the 26th of March in Prague. Denmark are playing North Macedonia in Copenhagen. The final is either in Prague or Dublin on the 30th of March. Two of them teams, I think, if they do get through into Group A, quite likely to get through into the next round, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be, I think, looking at Mexico to win the group.
Yeah.
I think you'll see South Africa finish bottom of the group.
Yeah.
So it then becomes Korea Republic
or the Path D winner.
Yeah, to battle it out for second.
And I think I'd probably have the Path D winner ahead of South Korea, quite honestly.
Would you?
Yeah.
Denmark have looked pretty good. Yeah, Czech Republic or Czechia. We're having to get used to calling lots of countries different names these days, aren't we? What used to be Czechia now, let's call it.
Czechia.
Same way as Turkey has now suddenly become the thing.
Yeah.
Instead of Turkey, now it's being pronounced Turkey by everybody.
But that's the Turkish way of saying it, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's fine. So let them say it. We'll just call it Turkey.
Such a boomer.
I'm not
a boomer.
Mate, don't tar me with your brush.
I'm
not that old.
Honestly,
I'm not that old.
I'm so sorry about that, everyone.
Why would you call something? So it's like, do you remember we used to call? You remember we used to go and play in Russia or in Ukraine and say, "Oh, who are you playing away in the European Cup? Oh, we're playing Dynamo Kiev." Remember that?
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Kiev.
Not anymore.
You boomer. You don't say boomer anymore. You say boomer. Boomer.
That's just boomer with a French accent.
So that's it. That's Group A. That's Group A. It should be an interesting one. Guess what? We're going to do Group B next time.
How could you possibly have guessed? Right, we're going to finish the podcast as we always do with Kenny's quiz. Everybody's favourite time of the week. Don't see the pipe out.
Oh yeah, the pipe. Where's the pipe? Where's the pipe? I need the pipe. There it is. It's back. It's back.
I always feel better when you're sucking on your pipe.
Oh yeah.
Right, 3 questions as always. Do play along at home. Shout out the answers to the questions. Question about Korea, question about Mexico, and a question about South Africa.
Oh, I can see how you've done that now.
Yeah.
Well done.
See?
Actually prepared something.
Yeah. Do you see? Right. An easy one to start with, mate, because I've been feeling a bit bad for you.
Okay.
In recent weeks,
please don't do what's the national animal of flipping Mexico, and it's something like the spiky hedgehog of Tijuana.
I'm not going to do what's the national animal of Mexico.
Good.
Okay, question 1. Yeah. What's the national animal of Korea?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No. But I wish it was.
No. Okay.
No, it's a much easier one. Korea is very well known for its martial arts. It's got lots and lots and lots of martial arts. But which martial art in Korea is known for its very high, fast kicking technique?
Jiu-jitsu. Taekwondo.
Yeah, I can only take your first answer.
Oh.
Jiu-jitsu is the wrong answer. Yeah, taekwondo. Taekwondo is the answer to that.
Right. So I'm glad I got the easy one wrong.
Well done if you got that right. Okay, South Africa question. I don't know. This might be, you might know this, or you might just raise your eyebrows, stand up and walk away. I don't know. How many official languages does South Africa have? But I might, if you don't know the answer and you're thinking about it, I'll give you maybe one either way.
Okay, I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, you would have got that right if I'd given you 7 either way, but I'm not going to do that. There are 11.
11 official languages.
11 official languages of South Africa. The most common one is Zulu.
Yeah.
Then you've got Xhosa. Then you've got Afrikaans.
Yeah.
You've got English.
Yeah.
You've got Sepedi, which is in the northern Sotho.
Sepedi.
You've got Setswana.
Yeah.
You've got Sesotho, which is in the southern Sotho area. You've got the language in Songa.
Yeah. Which is one that goes... There's one that has like clicks in it, isn't it?
No, that's Skippy. That's Skippy the bush kangaroo.
No, Nick. I think you'll find one of the African languages that speak about like.
Yeah, that doesn't work on an audio podcast because you're making a noise with no noise. You're just making a very weird sort of mouth shape that nobody can see unless you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify video. Yeah, they've got what else? Shivenda, Invenda, and Nendabele.
Oh, Nendabele. Yeah, I don't forget.
I thought you were
the four people who speak Nendabele.
I thought you were one of them.
No, I'm not. I'm not. So I feel so stupid now thinking that I only had four official languages when, of course, it was 11.
Which four did you think they were? English, French, Spanish, and American? Or
something? And I thought there might be Afrikaans in there. I thought there might be kind of
English.
No, Zulu. And I thought there was that one that went. And I thought it was English. So I thought that was it.
I don't know what that is.
There's definitely a language that does a little bit of the old.
Does it have words in it, or does it just?
Yeah, words. But some of the words it has in it. That's one of the sounds. It's one of the letters in the African languages.
There's no sound coming out of your mouth when you do that.
Really?
Yeah. Still no sound coming out of your mouth.
Fair enough.
Right, 0 out of 2.
Okay. It's like a clicking sound. If people can't actually hear what I was doing, it's like a clicking sound you make on the roof of your mouth.
Like this.
I can't hear you doing it now either.
Yes, you can. What was the name of the traditional spicy dark red sauce named after a Mexican state? What is the name of the traditional spicy dark red sauce named after the Mexican state? And you probably, mate, when you're rolling around, spilling out of the nightclubs and pubs in Derby at 4 and 5 a.m., which I know you do on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, I just fancy a kebab.
Yeah.
And you go and have a kebab. They might go, yeah, do you want a bit of this on?
Do you want a bit of so-and-so sauce on it? Jalapeno.
No. You might have some in your cupboard.
Tijuana.
No. Come on, mate. It begins with T. Shout it out. Everybody's shouting at you. Everybody around the world who's listening to this is shouting at you because they know the answer.
Fancy some... I don't know.
Stop trying to talk in clicks again.
I don't know.
The answer is Tabasco. Tabasco sauce.
I was not getting that.
We know. Oh, okay. Well, 0 out of 3.
That's been disgraceful, isn't it?
That's shocking.
Terrible. The worst one was the first one. I should have got Taekwondo.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a bit easier for you next week.
What are you going to do? You're just going to do like pictures of like, what is this? It's a dog. What is this? It's a car.
No, because that might be a little too hard. I might just do what letter do the name of these countries begin with? Let's see how you get on with that.
Yeah, great. Well, next week I'm going to do the whole episode in click language.
Well, to be fair, you might make more sense. To be slightly more entertaining.
Thank you.
So, on that note, thank you very much indeed for joining us in your weekly roundup of all things World Cup. We shall see you next week.
Pulitzer Prize winning episode, I reckon that, don't you? No. It's funny. It's entertaining. I laughed a lot through it.
Only if they've just given up.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, guys. So look after yourselves, look after each other. Till then, goodbye.
See you soon.
It's the Road to World Cup 26 podcast, your deep dive into everything FIFA World Cup every single week. Part of the Global Sports Podcast Network.
That's just plain embarrassing, isn't it?